So thank you for being here, Jai Nitai Prabhu, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to hear from chapter 4, text 13 of the Bhagavad-gita As It Is, and I hope you can hear us, and we are looking forward to hearing from you.
Hare Krishna, I'm happy to be with you. Can you hear me, actually?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good sound, yeah. Last time I was on a Zoom meeting with this computer, somehow I was not heard properly, but now you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you. And we can see you also.
Okay, nice. I can see you also. Very nice. So we sing Jai Radha Madhava, and then we can start.
Yes, we can sing, but however, I think it's best if we're all muted. You can sing, we will be singing. You can see us sing, but you would not be hearing us because otherwise it will be a total mess on the recording, and also for all the other viewers, it will be like bits and pieces of Jai and Ma, Da, Va, something like that. So in order to improve the sound experience, we will be muted and we will only be hearing you. Thank you.
Yeah, then I will sing also the repeat but please sing when the repetition is there. Just otherwise, if I don't sing, then I get confused when to sing again. So, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gope Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gope Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, so welcome everybody to the Bhagavad-gita class today. We're reading from Bhagavad-gita As It Is in the 4th chapter, text number 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Yeah, I have the English Gita, but there is no Sanskrit inside, so I take the German Sanskrit, which is the same. Cātur-varṇyaṁ sṛṣṭaṁ guṇa-karma-vibhāgaśaḥ tasya kartāram apimam kartāram avyayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. According to the 3 modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the nondoer, being unchangeable. Purport. The Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of Him. Everything is sustained by Him. And everything, after annihilation, rests in Him. He is therefore the creator of the 4 divisions of the social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, technically called brahmanas, due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the kshatriyas, due to their being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile men, called vaishyas, are situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance, and the shudras, or laborer class, are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of His creating the 4 divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions, because He is not one of the conditioned souls, a section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from animal status, the above-mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. The tendency of a particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to the different modes of material nature, are described in the 18th chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas, by quality, are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, etc. And as Krishna is transcendental to this system of the four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjala Chalakaya Chakshur Meritamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we read once more the verse. Cātur-varṇyaṁ mayā sṛṣṭaṁ guṇa-karma-vibhāgaśaḥ tasya kartāram apimam viddhy kartāram avyayam. There is, sorry, that's the wrong verse. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the nondoer, being unchangeable. Okay, this is actually one of a famous verse from Bhagavad-gita, and Srila Prabhupada used to recite it sometimes. And yeah, why is it famous, or why it is important? It has a certain message, or there's a certain what is said in this verse is all the verses are of relevance, of course, but what is said here is also of special relevance, because here actually the four varnas are described. And what Krishna says in this verse is that that these divisions of human society are created by Krishna himself. That is actually very interesting. We know that there's many different approaches on society, like how society should look like. We know now we are living in a democracy, and there has been monarchies, there has been dictatorships, there has been communist ideas, and there's all varieties of different ideas how society should look like. And it's actually very interesting that we hear here from Krishna himself that he has a certain idea how society should look like, and that he actually created the four divisions of human society are created by Krishna. And yeah, that's an interesting approach. So in general, this means we don't have to try to invent something new. We don't have to try to find out like what is the ideal way of living together, which would be like the in I think it's let me just look it up. I read about it today and I just forgot this word. It's an English word, but I have it here. The inductive process. The inductive process means that we try to find out by our own speculation, by research. We try to find out like what is the how to do things and how reality works and how things are. And there's a deductive process which is called avaroha panta, and this means that actually we can receive knowledge from the Creator in the end. Yeah, this is like we know that Bhagavad-gita is spoken by Krishna to Arjuna, and Krishna is addressed as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and so he is also addressed as the creator of everything, or as the Parameshvara, for example, the Parameshvara, the supreme controller of everything. So this is a deductive process to accept knowledge from Krishna. And of course, we accept knowledge from Krishna in general. We accept that, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are eternal living beings. This is something which is actually quite good message for us. It's quite positive to hear. And we hear that Krishna is a well-wisher of all living entities. Also nice to hear, and different things. But also sometimes Krishna explains us like how this material world is working, and that is actually also very nice to hear, because it helps us actually to understand this material world, to understand the problems of this material world, but also how find solutions for this material world. And so we don't have this as devotees of Krishna. Our approach is to try to understand the Varnashram Dham system, or the different Varnas, how society is structured, how Krishna structured this society, and there's in that sense understand like how human beings can become happy. This is two effects it has. One thing is that the individual can become happy in society, and the other is that society at large is working well together. That practically happens if we follow what Krishna explains. So there is different divisions in human society created by Krishna, and he explains here that this is according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them. I guess most of us have heard about the three modes of material nature. There's a mode of goodness, or sattva guna, and which is like like the word goodness itself says. It's a mode where persons in this mode of material nature are very well behaved, and they're satisfied within themselves. They are not like distressed very much, and we know that certain places can be put in these categories, or food stuff and time of the day and everything. And somebody who's in the mode of goodness, he is associating with this mode of goodness, and in that sense is quite nicely situated. And Prabhupada explains here that in the mode of goodness are the brahmanas, technically called in the mode of goodness the brahmanas are in the mode which is technically called goodness. Yeah, and then we have the kshatriyas, and they are in the mode of passion. Mode of passion is more like being very active, trying to achieve things in this material world, trying to and it brings a certain passion, and setting some goals, trying to achieve something in the material world. And kshatriyas are known also for managing in this material world, being like administrators. The kshatriyas are like normally like politicians, or like the kings used. That's maybe the modern politicians. Not all of them are like real kshatriyas. Some of them maybe, but traditionally the kings, they will be, and kshatriyas, they were in the mode of passion, and they were running the kingdom, organizing things, seeing that everything is going according to law and order. And whereas the brahmanas, they were more detached. That's actually very interesting. Then the brahmanas were considered the head of society, or are considered the head of society, like the kshatriyas are like the arms. So the brahmanas, they give the direction practically, and they are the intelligence. They explain how to do things, and the kshatriyas accept it and respect the guidance of the brahmanas and follow that guidance, understanding that it's good to follow their guidance. But the brahmanas themselves, they are very much detached from the material world itself, whereas the kshatriyas are very much engaged in the material world and the mode of passion. But this is actually you can see that it's a perfect arrangement in this way, like and therefore it's actually so important to honor the brahmanas and to give them so much respect, and that the brahmanas are also qualified, that don't exploit this position and try to hanker for material things, but are focused in the spiritual, are dedicating their life in Krishna's service. In that sense, are satisfied within themselves and give proper guidance to the kshatriyas. Yeah, then Prabhupada explains further in the purport that the mercantile man, the Vaishyas, which doing trade, but also taking care of cows and doing farming, the businessmen, bankers, and they are the Vaishyas, and they're like the third division of this Varnashram Dharma, of this Varna system. And they are in mixed passion and ignorance, and the Shudras are in ignorance. And that's actually also a very important aspect, that the mercantile class of men, that they are controlled by the kings, not the other way around. Like we know that nowadays, like money has become a very important, a very important value practically in our society. Whereas we can see in the Vedic society, actually the spiritual wealth and the spiritual strength was the real, considered the real value, the real asset practically. And so this was considered the highest, and was also therefore giving most respect, was also therefore it was also understood that this is the ultimate goal of life. And society is structured in this way. This is the Vedic society is structured in this way, that the spiritual enlightenment gets the most recognition practically, and this is very, very important, because everything else follows. This is when something becomes the center, gets the most recognition, and is treated with the most respect. Then you can see that becomes the focus for the whole society. And this is therefore so important, that Krishna arranged this Varnashram Dham system in this way, that the Brahmanas have to be the head. They have to give the guidance, and they have to be respected and protected by the other classes. And then the Kshatriyas, they take guidance from the Brahmanas, and they see that the Vaishyas and the people who deal with money a lot, that this is done in a proper way, in a way that living entities do not get exploited, but that actually living entities, everybody gets practically supported on his spiritual path, because that is what this Varnashram society is meant for, to give the living entity, especially the human, like Prabhupada was explaining, like a human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate man from the animal status above mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. So we can see, like, if we don't have a certain structure in society, then it's practically like an animal society. And actually, we could say that our modern society, even though we are so advanced in so many ways, still has a lot of this animalistic or led comparison to animalistic society. And especially because it's not about Krishna consciousness, but it is about eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, which is practically what animals are driven by, and what is the center of animal society. So what was the point? How did I get to this? Therefore, this Varnashram Dham system is these divisions of society are there to elevate all the human beings, and like Prabhupada is explaining, to Krishna consciousness. So, and this is actually also a very interesting aspect, that on the one hand, we have certain divisions in society, and Prabhupada liked to call it he used to call it the spiritual communism, because on the one hand, we have communism is this idea that everybody is equal, and practically, I mean, I'm not an expert in these ideologies, but that's what everybody understands about communism. Like, everybody should be equal, and some are more equal. We heard this, and we know that in all the countries where this idea of communism was tried to put in practice, then there still were some people who had more power than other people, or had more wealth than other people. And it's interesting is Prabhupada says, or the Vedic system says, it's not bad. It's actually meant to be like this. There's some people who have more wealth or more strengths and more facilities, more opulences than others, and there's different positions in society also. So there's people who are like more like the intelligence, who give the guidance, who tell what to do, and there's others who are like the controllers, and there's others who do business, and there's others who just follow the others, who just support the others the other sections of society. And that in a sense is not a bad thing. We don't all have to be equal, because actually it is explained, like all of us have a certain tendency to follow some of these qualities of a certain section. So yeah, I just see that somebody posted a question, I think, or I don't know exactly, but yeah, we'll come to this in the end. Don't worry, you can write questions in the chat box, but let me just finish my presentation, and after that we come for the question and answer section, or for comments. So it's not a harm that we are different. Actually, it's good, because we need different roles in the society. It's clear, you know, it is like this, and it's good. And this is actually according to karma, and this is actually explained in the verse guṇa-karma-vibhāgaśaḥ. Let me just read the check the translation. So it's guna means to the qualities, according to quality, and karma means according to the work. So anyway, so it's we take birth in a certain mode of material nature according to our karma, and in that sense we get a certain position in society, and this is according to the gunas we have, and it is like this. That is practically our karma, and then there's certain work associated with this mode of material nature we are situated in. And but yeah, that is okay. There is different, and there's practically, you can say there's a certain hierarchy, you know, there's like the brahmanas are on the top and the shudras are on the bottom, but still every living entity is respected. That is a very important thing. And so actually this, because this material situation, it is temporary. This is very important to understand. So if I take birth as a brahmana, then I might become very proud to be a brahmana, but what is the use if I don't really act as a brahmana and don't really follow the rabbinical activities? Then actually, according to this verse, and Srila Prabhupada makes this point, then I'm not a brahmana. He makes this point like, if you are born as the son of a lawyer, then it's not that you automatically become a lawyer. You have to acquire the qualities of the lawyer. So if the brahmana has really the qualities of the brahmana, then he is actually very humble. He does not become proud, and he actually understands that he's a servant of Krishna. He respects actually all the living entities, like we hear in the 5th chapter, due to, let me read the verse from the 5th chapter. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow and elephant, a cow, an elephant, a dog and a dog eater. So a learned, a humble sage, that is practically a brahmana, has to be a humble sage, and by virtue of true knowledge, he sees with equal vision all the different species of life, or also the different sections of society, because he sees the spiritual part, the spiritual spark. So in that sense, there can be, on the one hand, we can make distinctions in society, and at the same time, we can see everybody as a servant of Krishna and respect all living entities. And this is actually the more important part, because our how we are situated in this lifetime is just temporary. And it's actually explained like we had many different forms of life, you know, like, and of course, maybe now I might be in a lower position than somebody else, but it's not that I have to be depressive about that, because yeah, we all had been in higher positions and lower positions, and that is actually not of relevance. And actually, if we are too much concerned about these things, then we have a problem, because then we are actually attached to our material position. We are hankering for a material position, and then we have to take birth to follow this attachment. So it is actually much more important to have this spiritual perspective, and understand that we are all part and parcel of Krishna, and that we are servants of Krishna, and respect each living entity as a servant of Krishna. And yeah, in that sense, if people get this understanding of our temporary position in this material world, and the duties and the responsibilities and the rights which come according to the certain position one has, and on the other hand, sees that the spiritual dimension is the ultimate important thing, then actually, as I said in the beginning, with the Varnashram Dham conception, we can become ourselves very happy, and society at large can work very nicely together, because then we see that there is certain responsibilities, and actually, which is a very important point, like, it is not about, in this Varnashram Dham, it's not about trying to be something which we are not. That is a very important aspect. Like, it's one thing which is very, for me, it's like very obvious in our modern society. Like, we so much have to be something, or it's so much encouraged to be something which we are actually not. So my favorite example is, like, I go on the street and I distribute books, and so I approach a person, and the person says, yeah, no, I'm a student, you know, I don't like reading. I have so many books and I don't like reading. And then I always wonder, like, yeah, but why are you a student then? Something went wrong, you know. If you are really don't like reading, then you shouldn't be a student, because as a student, naturally you have to read. And so actually, because it's explained, like, we have a certain qualities, we have certain tendencies, we have certain things which we like to do, which are fulfilling us, how we would want to be active in this material world, practically, you know. And some people, they are really happy if you just tell them, just put this from here to there, or like do this and that, and explain everything, like what they do, and they just do it, and they are just happy to do it. And others, and they like to move matter from A to B, and from B to C, and so on and so forth. Others, they like to really to go on farming, or like to do some business and trying to improve their financial situation. And others, they are like protectors, or like politicians, and they like to see how to make the world a better place, and how to fight for righteousness and these things, and or like to manage these things. And others, they are like very intellectual. They like to they just like to read books, and cannot have enough of them, or like speak on philosophy, or work on certain I say, on certain topics which you have to solve with intelligence. So we can see that these tendencies are there and that it's good. And actually, we should try to understand what are our tendencies and how can we engage this in Krishna's service. And then as our life is actually perfect. And actually, if we do it ourselves and if we try to engage others in the same way, then this makes a life much better for the whole world. Because in that sense, we can actually become happy if we engage it in Krishna's service. If we engage our nature in Krishna's service, then we make it actually. It becomes transcendental activities. It becomes a transcendental. It has a transcendental effect, and in that sense, it's never lost, and we make progress in devotional service. And if we help others to engage in the same way, then we can try to put Krishna more and more in the center. And that's very important because Krishna is the center. And if we don't put Krishna in the center, but something else or somebody else, then the society doesn't work properly and people are not happy in the society. And actually, this is very obvious nowadays. There's so many problems in our world, and if we really understand this ideal Varnashram society and compare it to our modern society, we can see such a big difference. And we can see how our modern society is very much it's actually such a lack of satisfaction and such a lack of depth in this society. And so therefore, it's actually Krishna explains in the Bhagavad-gita something more about the different, about the duties or about the qualities of the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. He's explaining about the modes of material nature. And there's actually a few devotees who are really into understanding the Varnashram's dharma structure and are really expert in explaining this. One of them is, for example, Bhaktivedanta Swami, and he has very good classes on this. And it's actually very interesting to understand, because in this way we can understand ourselves also, like how to what should we try to be, where should we try to get, and how should we try to behave, and these things according to the situation we are in. We can try to understand, like, what is my qualities, what do I want to be, or what I as my nature, so what do I like to do, and in that sense become more active according to that. And and that is good. Then but then of course the most important is to be active for Krishna and become active in Krishna's service. And actually, Srila Prabhupada, in the beginning of ISKCON, I know at least, probably in the later times also, but I know in the beginning of ISKCON, he used to say also that he created this society to create brahmanas. So that's also important to understand. This is, and actually, I just read in preparation of this class, I read something, and I just want to read it because it's actually very encouraging and also explains something about the mood of Srila Prabhupada, and also gives some inspiration for us for becoming brahmanas. And that is not like that's something, or actually we want to become Vaishnavas, which is more than brahmanas, but it's actually a very high thing, but still it's possible, and still we that's our goal, and we should We should try to make it. So I just read the passage. This is from a lecture from Srila Prabhupada. He gave actually it is in the beginning in New York in 1966. He gave this lecture, and yeah, I just read it. Don't think that you cannot become a Brahmana. You can become a qualified Brahmana provided you abide by the qualification of a qualified Brahmana. Just as becoming a lawyer is not limited to a certain section of persons. Anyone who attains the qualifications of a lawyer becomes a lawyer. Now we should take the chance to become a Brahmana. As soon as we begin to inquire about the Supreme Brahman, Krishna, then our process of becoming Brahmana begins. That's interesting, huh? So if we inquire about Krishna, the Supreme Brahman, then the process of becoming Brahmanas begins. In human society, everyone thinks that he is low, I'm big. Everyone thinks in his own consideration, I'm the biggest and he is lowest. That is everywhere. But Lord Krishna does not consider who is bigger. He says, even those who consider themselves, I'm lowborn, because if everyone says that I'm lowborn, you are lowborn, you are lowborn, then I would think, yes, I'm lowborn. And there was once a conspiracy. There was a Brahmana named Bhagavan. He had 10 enemies, and they sat down at 10 places. And whenever he was passing, they would say, "Oh, you have become a ghost. Oh, how have I become a ghost? I am living." The next place he goes, and his enemy also says, "Oh, you have become a ghost." In this way, after he had passed 10 places, he thought, I might have become a ghost. Otherwise, why would everyone say that I have become a ghost? So, Dasha Chakra Bhagavan Bhuta. If everyone says that I am lowborn, then I will think that I am lowborn. But I am not lowborn. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit soul. I am born of Krishna. Krishna is my father. Take it like that. Think like that. That is twice born. It's actually very nice, I think. It has some psychological aspect. So this is what Srila Prabhupada wants us to understand. We are a spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi. I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. And Krishna is my father. And let me inquire about Krishna and let me become a real servant of Krishna. And in that sense, a Brahmana, because in that sense, we can become a guidance for others. Even though we might not be accepted now, like nowadays, it's not like politicians come to the Hare Krishna movement and ask them for guidance. But still, we are giving guidance because still people are searching and are inquisitive. And so, yeah, let us do our best to become more and more qualified, and let us more and more search for Krishna, and in that sense be more and more Krishna conscious. Okay, I think now I stop here with my presentation, and how do we continue?
I think we shall continue with questions. So just a second, we have some technical problem over here, so we have solved that. So anyway, we shall continue with questions. If you have a question, you can unmute yourselves and ask your question right away. We also have
one question in the
questions from Deep Tanshu in the chat box. He wrote, Hare Krishna Prabhu, depending upon the material nature or varna acquired by a person, does the path for perfecting Krishna consciousness differ? If I'm a Shudra or if I'm a Brahmana, are there more? If I'm a Shudra, are there some paths more or less appropriate out of the 9 paths like Shravanam, Kirtana, Kartāram, etc.?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, very nice question. And no, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, on the one hand, it's also said, like in Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra, and yeah, we have all of us, most of us, have very much the Shudra tendencies, and yeah, we can see this in society also. But yeah, this process of bhakti and the 9 different activities or angas of devotional service, they are transcendental. So all of them can lead one to perfection. Each one of them alone says, and or each one of them. But of course, Shravanam, Kirtanam, it said, should be always there. And practically, that's our process, what we do in the Hare Krishna movement. Huh? We hear about Krishna, and we chant about Krishna, or we chant the holy name of Krishna, and we hear glorifications of Krishna, or we glorify Krishna, and try with the words we use, we try them to use them in the glorification for Krishna. Otherwise, words are useless. So in that sense, there's no difference. And like probably, I mean, the question was posted before, but also this what I just read from Srila Prabhupada, it also gives some explanation about that all of us, it is actually not about the birth, it's about the seriousness in becoming active in Krishna consciousness, which is relevant in that sense. Okay, is this, are you satisfied with this answer, or you have further questions or comments on this? Deep Tanchu, Prabhu? Can you hear me? If you like, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nicely explained. Thank you.
Okay. Something else? Somebody else has a question? If you like, you can unmute, or if something is from the temple, then...
There is a question from Dauji Prabhu. He's approaching, and he's here.
Haribo!
Haribo! Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu and Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the nice lection. And I have two questions. Yeah, can you maybe more open this, how we as a followers of Vaishnava tradition can help to our society in this difficult time practically? And it's first question. And second question, we know that in few days we have Kartika starting, and what can we also do for Lord Jagannath and Jai Nitai, and can you maybe explain these two things? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I mean, what can we do for society? I mean, I think like we can see what Srila Prabhupada did. I think he had our master plan. He's our like inspiration, or he's the one who we trust, that he really had the good understanding, like how to give Krishna consciousness to others, or how to help society at large. And of course, the chanting of Hare Krishna, the holy name, is very important. Our own spiritual life, and this always has these two aspects, like the own spiritual praxis and the own application of what we read, and becoming ourselves like a real devotees. And the other aspect is also like trying to help others to come to Krishna. That is our mission. And I mean, there's so many different ways and so many different approaches how to do it. And of course, at the moment, it's we are limited. I just heard that there's new restrictions now for the 2nd of November starting for Germany, and I don't know how they are. And but so far, certain activities are still okay to do, and yeah, and I think it's. On the other hand, and then there's a prayer, of course, because in the end it's Krishna who's the supreme controller, and it's everything is running according to his desire and to his plan, and so don't worry, whatever happens, it's according to Krishna's plan, and it's our responsibility to be to really trying to become an instrument in Krishna's plan. This is what is our responsibility. Like, this is what Krishna wants us to be. He wants us to, like Arjuna, he was an instrument in Krishna's plan, and Srila Prabhupada, he was an instrument in Krishna's plan, and also for ourselves, Krishna has a certain plan, and if we desire to become his instrument, then he has certain ideas how we can be engaged as an instrument in a certain service and in his mission. But of course, the first thing is that we ourselves has to become very serious in spiritual life and practice spiritual life very seriously. And Kartik, I could switch now to the topic of Kartik, because this is Kartik is a month where we can practice more intense spiritual activities, because it's said like in this month it is especially spiritually potent, and whatever we do in service for Krishna, it counts 1,000 times more than normal. And actually we can see that also, like once I was in Kartik. I mean, I was in Vrindavan already a few times for Kartik, but first time I went there, because usually I used to go there not in Kartik, but in for the Gopurnima, so in springtime, not in the autumn time. But then first time I went there, and I thought, okay, shall I go or not? And does Krishna want me there or not? And I said, but I would like to go, because my spiritual master, he used to make a parikram there, and I knew some devotees who always went there for Kartik, and they said it's such a special atmosphere, and it has to be there and get an idea about it. And I thought, okay, I would like to go. So Krishna, you are the controller. If you want me to go, I just need the money. And somehow I got the money and I could go. And then I thought, okay, Krishna, if you want me to go to Vrindavan, if you allow me to come to Vrindavan, then you must have some place for me to stay there also. So I actually didn't do any arrangement before, which is kind of risky, because in Vrindavan for Kartik, many people come there. And I just went there, and then I just met somebody I knew, and I told him I don't have a place yet to stay. And he told me, yeah, I have a very nice place, which is very cheap. I mean, it is not a very nice place according to Western standard, but for a spiritual life, it's like very simple and nice place actually. And it was very cheap. And so I went there, and I could see how Krishna arranged everything. And actually this whole Kartik, I could feel Krishna's presence everywhere. And then on the last day, I also thought like, okay, now Krishna, he's withdrawing himself again. He's not so easily accessible now. Kartik is over. I could really feel it on the last day, like, okay, Kartik is over, and the magic is of course magic we can even have in other times, and not only in Kartik. But I wanted to make the point that in Kartik it's very easily accessible. And so, and that's practically our process. We engage in devotional service to get some glimpse of Krishna, to somehow get some realizations, to become more aware of Krishna, to be more Krishna conscious. And this is the reason why we perform all the activities we perform. Therefore we are chanting, therefore reading, and waking up early and worshipping the deities, and visiting holy places, eating prasadam, associating with devotees, and all these things we are doing, to become Krishna conscious. But to become Krishna conscious means to really experience Krishna, and to really to see Krishna as there, and Krishna is ecstatic. He's the best, and he's really the best. So let's and therefore we do something, and in Kartik we have the special opportunity to do something more, and Krishna gives more benedictions. And so we can see, like as I said, many devotees come there in Kartik to Vrindavan because they want to do more for Krishna. But also outside from Vrindavan, those also don't come to Vrindavan, they also do more for Krishna. You can see all around the world, all the devotees of Krishna, they are doing more in Kartik to satisfy Krishna, to experience Krishna. And so we can think ourselves, what is something realistic, what I can do, and what encouraged me, what is something. I always look for something which I actually would like to do, and I think about it during the year sometimes, but I somehow don't put it in praxis. And so sometimes, for example, I have somewhere here, it was not far away some time ago, but I don't know where it is now. I have one paper with certain verses which I'm learning, the Brahma Samhita, and I have it on a paper, and I put it in this foil, laminieren, how you call this. Anyways, I made it like kind of safe that it doesn't get. Here I have it. That's it. You see, it's in the plastic, so it's kind of waterproof, and it doesn't get destroyed easily, so it can easily carry it with me. And so here are the verses of Brahma Samhita in German and in Sanskrit. No, it's in English and Sanskrit. So I started to learn the different verses, and I almost finished it, but I still didn't finish it, And I actually started this some time ago. Like it's so for this year Kartik, this is my mission, one of my small goals. I prefer to set a few small goals, and rather than one big goal, like some do, like 64 rounds every day. This is especially because then the marathon is coming, and Srila Prabhupada book distribution marathon, and this time it interferes with Kartik. So, and I'm going for more smaller goals. Actually, one thing I always do in Kartik is also to read the Damodarastakam at least once, or sing it at least once a day, and to read the translation. And I can really recommend this because it's such a nice prayer to Krishna. And if you read the translation every day, it explains so much about bhakti, what bhakti is, and who Krishna is, and like how special Krishna is, and it's such a nice prayer also for pure bhakti. And so I always read it every day, the English or German translation and the Sanskrit. Yeah, but you can also chant many rounds, or like I heard from some devotees, they said they don't want to offend or think critical about other devotees or others, and so they put from rubber band, a wristband, and whenever they think critical or bad about somebody, then they just snip it like this, and makes it hurts, and to become more aware about the mind and the mind's activities, and become more positive. Anyways, I hope this gave you some inspirations. I'm sure you have anyways a lot of inspirations. I can just recommend to anybody who doesn't know now about the spiritual power of Kartik, just hear more about it, become and yeah, do something for Kartik. Read the books, chant the prayers, actually offer a lamp. And of course, in these times, it's very difficult because meetings are difficult. But if possible, meet with others and do something together, because this is very special if we do offer the lamp to Krishna and sing the prayers together. It's very special and purifying. It's a purifying activity. Never forget. Okay.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, something else? Or shall we stop here? It's past 8.
So there is no further question from the temple here, but maybe someone else has a question. This is the last call, as they say at the airport, last call, last chance. I don't see anything in the chat box. I don't see anyone waving into the camera because most cameras are off anyway. So I think we shall conclude here. Thank you very much for being our speaker tonight, and we hope to hear from you soon again. And thanks to all of those people who have joined us tonight. We wish you good health and go not, buena notte, Shubhratri, gute Nacht. And we shall conclude with a brief darshan of our deities, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. Thank you very much, and Hare Krishna.